This is Salam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Good afternoon and welcome to Keep Women Talking, a show from Peterborough Women's Aid. My name's Mandy and I'm your host for today, and I have my co-host Sue with me.
Good afternoon.
Sue, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm kind of, I like school holidays. I like half term.
Why do you like half term so much?
I just like obviously I'm at work, but there's no pressure, is there, to get the children to school at a specific time. So like my youngest is in childcare and we can just rock up when we want. So I just feel so much more chilled during school holidays, to the point of I've got my jeans on. And I never wear jeans for work. I always dress quite smart, but I thought, you're
going with it today.
Yeah, I just feel really quite chilled, and
I passed all that. My children are grown up. So
yeah,
I've sort of lost that element of it. In fact, most of the time I don't even know when it's half term.
Yeah. So yeah, I enjoy school holidays. I feel a lot less pressure.
Yeah. So you're going to be floating around this week, all happy as Larry.
I am. Yeah. So we have a really interesting show for you today. I'm going to start off with our question of the week. Sue came up with this one and I love this one because it's really interesting. Which two people would you like to have dinner with? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you can...
either living or passed away.
Living or passed away. Okay, so you can call us on 01733 602 133. You can text us on 074 119 excuse me, losing my voice, 1062, or comment on our Facebook, YouTube, X, or Twitch. So, Sue, which two people would you like to have dinner with and why?
So I've gone for people that I've just thought would be really interesting to talk to. So my first choice was David Attenborough.
Oh, love David Attenborough. I think, right, give me one person who doesn't love David Attenborough.
Well, this is it. There's no one.
There's no one.
Everyone just seems to love him, and I just think he's an absolute British icon.
And you want him to be your granddad, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just seems like the loveliest person.
He does. And he
knows.
Snap.
He knows so much.
Yes, he does.
And I just think it'd be really interesting to talk to, not only about the work that he's done with animals, but just his life and his travels. And he's been to so many different places, and places that you and I will probably never get to go to, and really unusual places as well. So I think it'd be really, really interesting. And then my other one, again, for the same sort of reasons, just for interest, was Mother Teresa.
Ooh, why Mother Teresa?
I don't really know. I just think, just this person that I remember talking about as a child and all the good work that she's done. And again, I just think she'd be really interesting for the places that she's worked in and things that she's experienced through her life. Obviously, she's no longer with us. I just think she'd be one of those really interesting people. And I think she'd perhaps put an interesting spin on things.
Yes.
And have a completely different viewpoint.
Love that.
So go on then. Who would your two be then?
Okay, so my first one is Donald Trump.
Really?
Now, you looked at me with a face then. You were like, what on earth? So the reason I would like to have dinner with Donald Trump is, one, to say, what on earth are you doing?
Is that just with the spray tan?
Yes, and with everything. And then I would like to challenge him about his views against women. And I've just got a few quotes from Mr. Trump about women. Let me find them for you. So this was a host she's a famous chat show host in America, and Donald Trump said, "That is one dumb woman. I'm sorry, woman. She's just a dummy." And then he told Whoopi Goldberg, he said, "She was filthy, dirty, disgusting. She was so dirty. Every word was filthy, dirty. What a loser she is." She described the district attorney of Georgia as being out of her mind. She's as crazy as a bed bug. So basically,
So does he make those comments about men as well?
pretty much no.
No.
He has
He's got
a
a really derogatory view of women.
another quote. I think this is about Hillary Clinton. Unattractive both inside and out. I fully understand why her husband left her.
Charming.
Yeah. So I would like to have dinner with Donald Trump because I would like to challenge him on all of his views about women and some of the decisions he's making in America, which I'm not going to go into, but just seem a little bit.
I always get the impression that he's one of these people that will just railroad any conversation.
Yeah.
Almost to the point of where you wouldn't be able to get a word in edgeways.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll just go on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah. And I'd probably like to take him somewhere like KFC. See what he ordered. I reckon he's a popcorn chicken man. I don't think he's a boneless banquet. I think he's a popcorn chicken man. So that's my first one.
And who was your second one?
So my second one, I'm just going to be really honest because this was my first gut reaction when Sue asked me this. Who do I want to have dinner with? I want to have dinner with David Beckham.
And why would you like to have dinner with David Beckham?
So actually, there's two footballers I would like to have dinner with, David Beckham and Roy Keane. So having been brought up in a footballing family, supported Man United all of my life, Roy Keane is one of my absolute idols. I think he's one of the best footballers out there, and he's really funny and he says crazy things, and he was really aggressive on the pitch. David Beckham, I think I'm just going to be honest and say because I've always had a crush on him. So I wouldn't take him to KFC. I would upgrade. I would go more Brewers Fare. David Beckham, I think. So yeah.
You wouldn't cook for them at home then, Mandy?
Absolutely. I don't cook, Sue. Oh no. I actually burnt a jacket potato the other day.
How can you burn a jacket
in the microwave?
potato?
I don't know. I burnt it in the microwave as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's possible.
And the house stunk of burnt potato.
Okay.
So no, I don't cook. Cooking
Sounds
is
like it's a wise decision if you can manage to burn a jacket potato. Yeah, leave it to your partner, Mandy.
Yes, I will do. And the children.
Are they better cooks than you as well?
Actually, yes. The two oldest boys are. Joe cooked, he'll hate me for saying this, but he doesn't listen, so it's fine. Joe cooked a Valentine's meal for his girlfriend on Friday night. He made tacos and cookies from scratch. And then my eldest, he's at uni, and yeah, he does all his cooking. He cooks like curries and chilies and all of that stuff. So they haven't got it from me. They've got it from Simon, not from me, because I don't know what I'm doing. But
lifelong skills.
Yeah. Do you like to cook?
I do and I don't.
Mm. You're a baker, though, aren't you?
I love baking. Love baking. But yeah, I'm not very... I think because of work and life, I don't like particularly to cook. Mm. And it's so time consuming and that. But then you say I love baking cakes and whatever, all different sorts of things. But again, I haven't done that for ages.
Mm. Could you please start baking cakes?
But I'm trying to be healthy and make good decisions. And cakes shouldn't be on that list.
Yeah. Okay.
And the trouble is, in our household, I have two very fussy children, growing up children, who I'll bake something and they'll go, oh no, I don't want to eat that. So then it comes to me and my husband to eat, and then I'm just like, well, we've got this massive cake and there's only the two of us to eat it.
Mm.
Maybe I should just bring it to
work.
I knew that was going to come.
Okay, so we are asking you, our question of the week, which two people would you like to have dinner with? So call us on 01733 602 133. Text us on 074 119 1062, or you can comment on our Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch.
So what's been going on the last couple of weeks, Mandy? I feel as though it's been a bit quieter the last couple of weeks.
I think it's been busy in terms of the work that we're doing, isn't it? With supporting victims of abuse. But in terms of like our external stuff, it has been quite quiet.
It's been quite nice. It's given us a little bit of a lull, hasn't it? After the madness of Christmas and the break over sort of December and January, which is always crazy busy for us.
Yeah. So I went, things that we've been doing, I went on the radio on Wednesday night at Huntingdon Community Radio.
Are you going to tell your little story?
I'm going to tell my little story.
You need to tell your little story.
So I was all prepared and everything, and the presenter said, "Oh, we're delighted to have our guest. This is Wendy from the Angels Foundation." And I said, "No, it's Mandy from Peterborough Women's Aid." So that was a good start to the show, but it was good. You know, I got to speak about what we do and encourage people, you know, raise awareness and stuff. So that was good.
Yes, Wendy.
Everyone at work is calling me Wendy now. So we've finished our secondary school work at Hampton Gardens, haven't we? And at Hinchinbrook School. How did that go?
It was really good. It was such a successful week. Well, I think Hinchinbrook has gone on for 2.5 weeks, hasn't it? But I did the ones at Hampton Gardens, and it was such a great experience. We haven't been into secondary schools, or I haven't previously, and they were just so receptive.
And what were you talking about again, Sue?
So we were talking about domestic abuse and abuse aimed at their age group, because obviously it doesn't just suddenly start when you're an adult.
Mm-hmm.
This can start from when you're in, you know, secondary school or even younger. So yeah, they were really interested, and they seemed to take it in so much. And we were talking to some of the teachers, and they were like, it's such an important subject to make them aware at this age what a healthy and unhealthy relationship looks like.
Yeah.
And I think with the other schools, you've been doing some work around consent as well.
We have.
Which
Yeah.
again is such an important subject.
It was very, very interesting. The comments we were getting we did year 10, so they're 14, 15. And everyone in the room understood consent, but everyone had different views about what is consensual and what's not. And we talked about, you know, alcohol, we talked about drugs, we talked about, loads of stuff. We talked about Andrew Tate, we talked about misogynism. Really interesting. And all the students were like fully engaged with it, asked loads of questions. I'm just surprised the stuff that we're doing in secondary schools isn't actually on the curriculum, is it? We're just going in because we're going in.
That's it. We've put out to the secondary schools, this is what we can offer. And then some of them have come back to us as part of their PHSE lessons and said, could you talk around sort of this subject?
Yeah. So our secondary school work, the ones that I think we've got some more on the cards, haven't we, actually coming up.
I think it gets rid of all those myths.
It does.
And talking about, you mentioned Andrew Tate earlier, obviously social media has such a massive influence on that age group. And they're getting all these mixed messages and a lot of wrong messages that they then think are right.
Yeah, absolutely. When we were in one class, we did some quotes. I can't read them out on the radio, actually, because they're really quite offensive, from Andrew Tate. And we asked students to kind of guess who has said this. And they guessed Andrew Tate, and then a couple of the lads at the back went, "Oh yeah, top G," which apparently means nice guy, or whatever. But interestingly, we were only in there for an hour. By the end of the hour, they were just like, he's an idiot. Yeah, basically.
And I think that's the thing, isn't it? They're so influenced by money.
Yep, power.
And these people have these amazing lives, but actually, when you take that step back and you look at what they're actually saying and doing, it's not great at all.
No, it's not. Other things we've been doing, just to let everyone know that we do have our groups running through half term. So we have Women Warriors, that's tomorrow at 10:30. And then we have our Arts and Crafts Thursday, Friday from 11. So just because it's half term, we are not closed. So please do come to our groups. I've had some really good fundraising meetings, actually. I met with Children of Adam, and we're hoping to work with them.
That'd be amazing.
Yep. I also went to one of our biggest supporters, EPD Insulations, who... Are
they local?
They are local. They've got this huge factory in Peterborough. And you know when you just kind of... you don't really understand... I don't understand, like, other organisations because you're
And
so
what they do
you're so
and-
like stuck in. All I know is Peterborough Women's Aid and we're a charity. That's all I know. And then I went.
Once you've worked in that field, you're never
You
going
don't
to know
know,
what
no.
to expect, are you?
And I went to their warehouse. It was massive, and there were lorries here, there, and everywhere. But anyway, EPD are one of our biggest supporters, so I went to talk to them about fundraising going, this year. We've got some Women's Institute talks that we're going to be doing. And we have a lot of WIs actually that support us, don't we?
We do, and they're, these amazing groups of women that come together, and they're interested in the work that we do, and then they make a donation to help us continue with the support that we offer, and then they also make some lovely donations of amazing brand new toiletries and sanitary ware and things like that, which enables us to support our clients.
Yeah. So, and then we're still promoting our charity pots. We're going to be doing a massive, if you have a hairdresser, that makes no sense. If you are a hairdresser or working a hairdresser's,
Or an nail bar or a beauty salon.
watch it.
Anything.
We're coming for
Whether
you.
you're a baker's.
We're coming for you with our charity
What
pots.
was it? A baker's, a butcher's and a candlestick
Yeah,
maker?
yeah, we're in.
Any business whatsoever.
Any business. And we're trying to get runners for the Great Eastern Run. So last year we had about 60. We really want to get 100 runners. We haven't got many at the moment. So we are going to be sending out lots of emails to people. We're going to be promoting it on socials. Please, please, please. You don't even have to do the half marathon. You can do the family 5K.
So I think the only thing that we stipulate is that you raise so much sponsorship money and then we
Yeah.
will pay your entry fee. And if you do the half marathon, we'll even give you a running vest.
We will. So for the 5K, all you need to do is raise 75 quid and we'll give you your entry fee. And for the half marathon, it's 150. So, yeah, we need runners. We want 100 runners this year.
If you want to give yourself something to aim for this year and you're
Yes.
a keen sports person,
Yeah.
think of us.
Yeah.
and
Yes, do.
Give it a go.
We have a reply from our question, and our question is, which two people would you like to have dinner with? And someone who obviously has been listening put, I would like to have dinner with Wendy from Huntingdon Radio last week. She sounds like fun. Thank you for that.
I have a horrible feeling that might be one of our staff
I think it
members.
might be winding me up even more.
Yes, Wendy.
Okay, so Sue, what are we talking about this week?
So we're talking about those things that might get in the way of us making a good decision.
Oh,
But having said a good decision, I'm now thinking about that because you don't necessarily have good and bad choices. Sometimes it's varying on a spectrum. And that, isn't it? So let's say better decisions.
I always remember my mum saying to me, if you don't know what to do, don't do anything.
Yeah, rather than making a bad decision.
And that's a decision you've made a decision not to do something. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that influence our decision making. And I was reading an article earlier and they were saying that very often a lot of people will focus on the short-term reward and what the benefit is now rather than thinking long-term and what you may get in addition to that.
Long-term gains.
Yeah.
Now that is really, I'm going to go off on a tangent, but that's really interesting because when I used to work in probation and I used to work with perpetrators or violent men, and it was only men, we used to teach them tools about decision making. So we used to look at things like a cost benefit analysis that would look at, like you say, short-term reward as opposed to long-term gains.
Yes.
And a lot of offending behaviour was very much focused on that short-term reward with no awareness of the consequence. And it was all about encouraging offenders to think longer term, think of the consequence and also the impact of your actions as well.
And I think you're right. Very often the consequence of your actions gets forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, you think about that immediate reward, if
Yes,
you like,
yep.
or that immediate action. And then you forget actually whether there's a consequence to that.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, the impact on yourself, on other people and those around you.
Yeah.
And that. So, yeah, the first thing, Mandy, I wanted to raise was about stress hormones.
Stress hormones.
So when you're in a particularly stressful situation or long-term stress,
Right.
that really massively affects your hormones. So we have adrenaline, which I'm sure everyone's aware of. For example, if you go on a roller coaster, you get a hit of adrenaline.
Yep.
And you get that rush because that's your body's natural way of kicking in survival mode, if you like, to give you that burst of energy to do what you need to do in that moment. But if you're constantly having that adrenaline rush around your system, you then have this thing called cortisol.
Okay.
Which runs through your body, and the level of cortisol will gradually get higher and higher and higher. And that can be really bad for your health.
Right.
And I think when you are stressed, you can make terrible decisions.
Yes. Yep.
Because of all these hormones rushing around your body, your brain then can't function properly. And you may make a decision that, like you say, impacts that moment here and now.
Yep.
Because you can't necessarily rationalise and even think long term.
So we had Sonia on, didn't we, from
Yes.
Wow Fitness, and we talked a little bit about this. So what kind of things can we do to, I suppose, stop that happening? You know, stop the stress.
Yeah, so managing stress is really, really hard. I think one of the biggest impact, I suppose, that I can think of is the exercise. That I'm not talking about running a marathon.
Yeah.
I'm talking about gentle exercise, that movement that can help bring those levels down. I think I've mentioned in a previous programme about bilateral movement. So that's using both sides of your body. And that helps lower all those hormones down and helps dampen everything down within your body. So things like walking, swimming, running, if you really want to. I know, Mandy, you're a runner, aren't you? Knitting.
Knitting, because you're using both.
Yeah, because you're using both sides.
I don't know if that's how you knit.
You look a bit like a chicken, Mandy. Drumming. If there's any drummers out there, that's really good for bringing your stress down. And things just like a lot of people, I think naturally will tap.
Yes.
If they get anxious and get slightly heightened, they might tap their hands on their legs or they might tap their feet.
Yeah. I'm a big, like you said, I like running, but I use exercise as my stress relief. There's no doubt about that, to the point of if my family will say, you need to go for a run or you need to go to the gym, because they can see that I am getting really kind of, what's the word? Aroused?
Agitated?
They can just see it. And I can feel it as well. I can feel it. I'm like, I need to get out of here. I need to go and do something. Otherwise, I'm just going to literally explode.
Yeah.
But there's other people use the opposite, don't they? And they do like yoga and breathing exercises and all of that stuff.
Like you say, apart from the physical side, like you say, things like yoga and breathing can have a massive impact. Because just regulating your breathing at a sort of slow, regular level brings, again, everything down within your body.
I don't know how people do yoga. I'm just putting that out there, right? I can't even touch my toes. And I go to the gym and I run and I swim. I'm so inflexible. Is that a word? You see all these people doing like dog pose.
Downward dog.
Downward dog. No idea
See,
how
I
people
love a
do
bit
it.
of Pilates
Do
rather
you?
than yoga, yeah. I prefer Pilates to yoga.
Yeah.
I think that might be because my balance is a bit off. Or maybe I've just got a weak core. I'm not sure. But yeah, and then other people can find things that they can concentrate on. So like craft activities.
Yes.
Again, are also really, really good for bringing those stress level down. I think because you're distracting the mind and giving it something else to concentrate on, and then naturally that your breathing level slows down.
Yeah. And colouring, like adult colouring is a big thing, isn't it? And stuff like that.
Yeah, I think any sort of activity, and everyone's an individual, everyone has to find their own thing.
Yes, yeah.
And like you say, we're both quite physical. I love swimming.
Yep.
I find that really clears my mind. You love your running.
Yep.
And that, like you say, I've got friends who are great crafters and will go away and whip something up or, create this artwork.
And it's funny because we have our arts and crafts groups, don't we?
Yes.
And a lot of our clients that come to those do say that it's about giving them time to focus on one thing and then walk away having created something. And you can sometimes literally see when they come in for the session, they can be quite anxious or stressed or heightened. And then after that, like, couple of hours, they're really calm and kind of ready to go again. And it has a huge impact, doesn't it?
It does. But like I say, it's just about finding your thing.
Yeah.
The one thing or two things or however many that work for you and will help you bring those levels down.
Okay. We are asking you, which two people would you like to have dinner with? Sue said Mother Teresa and David Attenborough. I said Donald Trump and David Beckham. Call us on 01733 602 133, or you can text us on 074 119 1062, or you can comment on Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. So we are going to be going to an ad break in a moment, but when we get back, we are going to be looking more about decisions and how things can influence our decision making, probably both good and bad. So we will you will hear from us after the break.
Craving a heavenly escape in the heart of Peterborough? Heavenly Desserts is the perfect place to relax with friends, unwind with family, or for casual meetings with colleagues. You can now indulge in our delicious brunch menu with mouth-watering savoury delights, served from 11 a.m. every day. Visit us today at Cowgate, Peterborough, the go-to spot for good times and great company. Where else but Heavenly's? Party packages available for birthdays and other celebrations. Also available to order through Just Eat, Deliveroo and Uber Eats.
Are you a savvy shopper searching for the best food deals? Look no further. Adams Cash and Carry can help you save big. We're not just a food wholesaler for takeaways and restaurants. We also welcome household customers at our warehouse in Westwood, Peterborough. Visit our website and enjoy wholesale prices on everything from drinks to flour, rice to burgers and much more. To shop, go online and collect in store. Visit adamscashandcarry.co.uk today to start your savings spree.
Craving authentic Desi flavors? Look no further than Desi Restaurant. From midday until 1 in the morning, enjoy our homemade specialties that will transport your taste buds. Indulge in tantalizing papri chaat and savor the rich Chersi Kadahi. Treat your friends to our fresh 1 kilogram Chersi lamb handi. Plus, get 2 12-inch pizzas for $11.95. Located at 298 Lincoln Road, we deliver from lunchtime until 1 a.m. Call 01733 555 795 now to order and experience Desi Restaurant's flavors.
Home or business, protect what matters most with a bespoke security system from H-Secure Tech. CCTV, intruder and fire alarms, and access control too. 5-star Google-rated H-Secure Tech install them all, with 24-hour and mobile app monitoring, keeping your business safe and your loved ones protected. To discuss your specific requirements, call 01733 590 201 or visit hsecuretech.com.
At Masters Pharmacy, we put your health and convenience first. We offer free blood pressure checks and blister-packed medication. With our free same-day prescription delivery service, you can have your medication when you need it. We also offer travel vaccinations, including Hajj and Umrah, along with other services to meet all your pharmacy needs. For more information, contact Masters Pharmacy on 01733 567 208 or visit us at 303 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PH.
City & Co Tax Specialists. A modern, refreshing and straightforward solution to your accounting and tax needs. We are flexible, clear and dynamic. Are you tired of your current accountant not giving you the right advice, not giving you time, not giving you business solutions? City & Co Tax Specialists have helped many businesses build a better structure to minimize commercial risks and become more tax efficient. There is no substitute for a well-rounded specialist accountant and tax advisor. Our consultants will work with you to minimize your tax exposure through tax planning. Whether you are looking within the UK or offshore tax planning, we can help. We offer so much more than your average accountant, and that's what stands us apart. Call us on 01733 777782. Your partners in success.
Peterborough's community radio station. Salam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Good afternoon and welcome to Keep Women Talking, a show from Peterborough Women's Aid. My name's Mandy and I'm your host, and I am joined by my co-host Sue. Hello, Sue.
Hiya.
We're talking about making decisions and things that might influence us. But before we talk about that, we are going to ask you a question. Which two people would you like to have dinner with? So you can call us on 01733 602 133. You can text us on 074 119 1062, or you can comment on our Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. So, Sue, we are talking about things that influence our decision making.
We are. So we were just discussing about stress.
Yep.
Which obviously everyone experiences stress at some point in their life, and different things that you can do. So we talked about physical activity, crafts, for example. You mentioned colouring. It's just about finding your thing.
Yes.
That helps sort of balance your life and bring those stress levels down. I think one of the biggest things as well is other people's expectations.
Oh, okay.
And those people around you and within the communities that you live. And sometimes we make decisions maybe not in our own best interests, but what we think we should do and what you think would be accepted by those around us.
I'm going to ask you for an example. Have you got one?
I knew you were gonna do that. Let's do something basic. So let's think about food.
Okay, yep.
Okay, so there's a massive thing within society that you should eat healthily.
Yes.
We all know this. Everyone knows that they should eat healthy foods. So why do we not do it?
Good
so
point.
Why do so many people still choose to eat the sweets, to eat the crisps, to eat the rubbish and all those processed foods?
It's really nice.
It is. But I think if you're perhaps within a group that's perhaps very healthy, very focused, I think you might, if you were going out for dinner, for example, you might actually go, I'm going to pass on dessert.
Yes, you might.
Because you know that those people around you are likely to pass on dessert because, you know, they're very into healthy, clean lifestyles. So that can influence your decision.
Okay. So you're making a decision which you normally wouldn't make just because of the people that are around you.
Yes.
Okay. I've got a good one for this.
Okay.
I don't know if this is relevant. I don't even know if this is right. But anyway, I'm going to tell you. So I went out. Oh, my goodness. I don't know if I should say this now in case they're listening. They won't be listening, will they? So I went out for dinner for one of my friend's birthdays. And it was a really posh place, really posh place. So we had dinner and then we had drinks. Then we had some coffees and desserts and all of this stuff. And the bill was really,
silly money.
It was silly money. Now, I would not choose to go somewhere like that. I would not choose to spend that amount of money on a meal, but I felt I had to because everyone around me was doing that.
Yes.
And so I felt this kind of pressure or expectation that I should do what they're doing, basically. But it didn't feel nice. And I think that's the point that we're trying to make, isn't it? It didn't feel like, I didn't wake up in the morning and go, whoa, I've just, I can't pay my mortgage this month, but wow.
It's okay, I had a nice meal last
What a
night.
nice prawn sandwich that was, But it didn't feel nice because it felt like that decision was near enough out of my control and that had to
And I think
happen.
that's the thing, isn't it? You're not making that decision for you and actually what you want.
Yeah.
So you don't get that pleasure, if you like.
Yeah. But it's quite difficult, isn't it, to say no or to carry on behaving in the way that is you when there are people around you.
Yeah, it is really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And I think I admire people who can actually go, no, disagree with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
I really struggle with that because I don't want to upset people. I don't want confrontation. But then I also think, if you don't want to do something, why are you doing it?
to put another spin on it,
Oh, go on.
do you think that as a woman in society, you're more likely to do that than a man?
Ooh, yes.
I think you're right.
I think women are more judged by society
And I think women
than men.
are more aware of the consequences and think that they need to. I think women worry more about what that decision, the consequences of that decision, and how
Yes.
that might impact other
Yes.
things.
So I'm going to say something, right, controversial, but I don't know. This might not be a thing. So if, for example, I don't think I know a woman who is a friend or a colleague or an associate that hasn't at one point said to me, I'm on a diet, I want to lose weight, I don't feel good about myself.
Right.
I can't remember hardly any males that I know that are friends, colleagues, associates saying, I'm on a diet, don't really feel good about myself. There seems to be this...
Yeah, openly.
Yes.
They might say it to their partner, for example, within their household, but would they say that openly to their friends?
I don't know. So what I'm getting at is there is this expectation of women to make decisions because of maybe the way they look or the way they want to be seen by other people.
And I wonder whether if you do get a woman who can make those decisions for herself, that people then judge her, and people will then say, "Oh, she's really cold and uncaring and really hard-nosed."
Yeah,
it's just something interesting, isn't it?
It is
Just to
really
consider.
interesting. Yeah.
And that. What else have we got? Let's have a think. Lack of knowledge, a big one, I think, or incorrect knowledge.
Yes.
Like you might rely on other friends and their opinion, and if someone talks really confident to you,
Yep.
you automatically think they know what they're talking about.
Yes.
And that influences your decision.
It does. And I'll give you an example of this. My partner listens to talk radio. Nothing wrong with talk radio, but it's quite opinionated.
Yes.
And you get loads of people kind of phone in and
I
whatever.
suppose that's the purpose of it. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
So
a
you get
purpose.
different viewpoints.
Yeah, fabulous.
And different opinions, and that creates the talking.
And we were in the car with our 9-year-old and our 15-year-old, and my partner was talking about migration.
Right.
Immigrants, blah, blah, blah. So he had listened to this phone in on TalkSport. He had adopted the view of talk radio and was now telling the kids, all immigrants that come, they take money from the NHS and we're giving up our housing and now we don't have any jobs. He said that so convincingly that I had to jump in there because I thought, I don't want the kids thinking this is fact.
Yeah, to
this
provide
isn't
a
fact.
more balanced view.
Yeah. So I was like, actually, what you're saying is not true. There's no evidence to back that up. And more people leave the UK and emigrate to Spain or Australia than we do having immigrants coming into this country. So what you're saying is one person view and not factual. But if I hadn't have jumped in, especially our little one would have probably said, oh yeah, don't like immigrants.
And run with it.
Yeah. So it is, isn't it? It's people believe, if you say stuff with enough conviction, people believe you, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. And I think when I'm making a decision, especially if it's a big decision, I'm one of these people that will analyse everything, and I will go away and I will read. I'm rubbish at making immediate decisions, absolutely rubbish at it, even if that's what am I having for lunch today and I'm sort of out, shopping. What restaurant should we go? I am the worst person for making a decision because I am one of these people that has to go away and think about every option available, weigh it all up and the pros and cons, and then I'll make a decision.
Which is why, Sue, you and I work so well, because I am Mrs. Impulsive. Yes, let's do this, do that, do this, do that. And then you'll be like, Mandy,
hold on a moment.
Hold on. Have you thought any of this through? And I'll be like, no, but it sounds fun. So that's why we work so well together, because Sue is like sensible person on my shoulder.
But sometimes, being able to make a decision on the spot is needed.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely. And that sometimes, you can't wait to make
maybe
a
not
decision.
life-changing decisions.
No. not those massive ones. And I think there's also something that we need to consider, which is decision fatigue.
Oh.
So if you've suddenly had, say, a couple of days, even in work or something, where you've had to make decision after decision after decision after decision, you get to a point where you go, I'm done.
Yes.
You know, your brain's on overload and you just can't make a decision anymore.
Yeah. I find that happens a lot with me, and even today, when we were in the office and we were in the office with the girls in the office, I was thinking about making a decision about a fundraising event, wasn't I, that we're going to be doing, but I couldn't. I didn't have the headspace or the energy to make that decision. So then I came to you guys and said, I don't know what to do.
That's it.
Because I just felt I'm making so many decisions at the moment. I don't want to get it wrong.
And like you say, I think you reach that point where you just go, I just can't do it. Whether you haven't got the headspace, you just can't think things through clearly.
Yeah.
You just haven't got the energy.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really, really difficult. And I think that's something that we have to be aware of. And like you say, you came to all of the others that were in the office and just went, what do you think?
I don't know
and sometimes you need to do that, don't you? Even silly things like I've gone home and I've literally walked in the house and my husband's gone to me, what are we having for dinner tonight? And I've gone, I don't know. I just can't even make that decision. You decide.
I have that conversation every night. Mum wants for dinner. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, because I think you do reach that point, don't you, where you just go, I just can't make another decision.
No, someone do it for me.
I haven't got the capacity anymore.
Yeah. We've had someone comment on our Facebook feed. So Sam has put, I would love to go out on a dinner date with Princess Diana.
Oh, that's a good one.
She is my forever all-time role model. I just loved everything about her. And then Sam's put another one I would like to have dinner with is the greatest man to have ever walked the earth, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Oh,
2 great ones there from Sam, isn't it?
Yeah, they're brilliant ones.
Thank you so much.
Well, again, what interesting conversations you could have.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And the insight as well would be incredible.
I mean, do you remember where you were when Princess Diana died?
I do. My husband and I were in the car and we were driving to the coast when it was announced on the radio.
Yeah. It was one of those I remember completely where I was. I was actually in bed reading a book and I had the news on in the background and it flashed up and wow.
Yeah, it was just one of those things completely unexpected, wasn't it, that just throws you.
Yeah. And something that everyone will remember, along with her funeral, everyone remembers that, don't they?
Definitely.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for commenting. If anyone else would like to contact us, we're asking you, which 2 people would you like to have dinner with? You can call us on 01733 602 133. You can text us on 0711 191 062. Or you can comment on our Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. We are talking about making decisions and kind of what influences us when we make decisions.
That's it, and those things that make them difficult to make sometimes.
Yes.
And that. One of the other things that I've got on my list is fear of the unknown. So you're in a situation and you've been offered something else. Do you take that leap? When you're not quite sure what's going to happen and what the fallout's going to be?
See, I'm quite good with the unknown. I'm kind of, I think that comes down with me being so impulsive that I'm like, I'm going to make that decision. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll just go with it and see what does happen.
Yeah. Where I'm more on sitting on the side of caution.
Yeah. But I kind of also think fear of the unknown, you're never going to know the unknown unless you know it.
Sometimes it's a good option, isn't it, is to take that risk.
Yeah.
And to jump into it.
Yeah.
And I think whether that might be in a decision such as a job.
Yes.
Someone offers you a job I came into this sector. I hadn't worked in this sector before when I applied. And I thought, oh, yeah, sounds interesting. I've got a bit of background information. I took that leap. And I think because of the nature of the work that we do, it was only on a fixed term contract as well. I'd gone from a permanent position to this fixed term.
It was risky.
Yeah, Definitely. And like you say, sometimes you just have to go, no, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And look what's happened.
Yeah.
You're never going to leave Peterborough Women's Aid ever. But I think also, I'm just going to, no, we're trying to make the show quite relaxed because it's half term, aren't we?
Yes.
But I think also, just to kind of add to this, when we look at our clients and we look at victims of abuse, and this is another thing to add to the list, isn't it? Fear of the unknown.
Yes.
So if you want to leave an abusive relationship, you've been used to that abuse for 20 odd years or whatever.
That's familiar to you. You know what to expect. You know how that other person's going to react and behave.
Yep.
And whether that's good or bad, you know what's coming.
And there's a huge fear about what happens next.
Yeah.
You know, what will happen?
There's
what
so
will my
many
life be
unknowns.
like? Yeah, there is so many unknowns.
Yeah.
And also when you've been, as a victim, when you've been controlled for so long, you've probably never known unknowns.
No.
Have you?
That's it. And if you feel that you're not good enough,
that
you haven't got the skills that you need, you think you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to fail, do they?
Yeah.
And that, you know, as much as everyone says, oh, you can learn from your failings and that, no one actually wants to fail.
No, of course you don't. No.
And that, and like you say, I think that's those massive pressures.
Yeah.
And that definitely. And if you haven't, talking about partners, if you haven't got a supportive partner in making decisions, you may just not make a decision.
Yes. Yeah. That's really
whatever
important, isn't it?
it's
Especially
about.
when, like, if you go back to your example of your job, I'm sure you discussed that with your husband. You know, this is a risk and, you know, it's a different contract, blah, blah, blah. But you had that person to talk through and to help you make that decision.
That's it.
And I think when you're making decisions, having that person to talk through with.
That's it, whether that be a partner, a friend, a family member, having that support network around you.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the work that we do in PWA is that we enable women to make decisions by giving them support, by giving them all the stuff we've listed, knowledge, experience, all of that kind of stuff, help reducing their stress levels to make sure the decisions they're making
That's it.
are
Like you
good
say,
ones.
even things like making people aware of their rights.
Yes.
And that when they're in that abusive relationship and they don't know what they're entitled to and where they stand, whether that be with benefits, whether that be with their immigration status, we can help with all of that. And having that knowledge enables other people to make decisions.
Yes. Yeah.
And that, and being able to support people through those processes, such as applying for housing. I mean, that's a minefield in itself. And sometimes you just don't know where to start with certain things, do you? So having someone who's got your back and wants to support you and wants you to help you through those, that process, not doing it for you, but just being in the background and providing you with information and guidance helps you to make those decisions.
It does. It does, definitely. What else can influence our decision making?
Money.
Money.
Good old money, normally lack of it.
Lack of money.
And that is you know, it can have a huge impact.
I kind of think, obviously we make decisions now, don't we? I mean, I'm quite an impulsive person. I make decisions. My decisions are restricted because sometimes you do need money, don't you, to be able to do the things you want to do. So if I won the lottery and I had £2 million, I wonder if my impulsivity would be the same because I've got all this money. So I don't need to make...
You'd be bankrupt in a week.
I probably would be. I'd give it all to Peterborough Women's Aid. But yeah, would my character change because I now have money?
Would it impact the decisions that you make?
Yeah.
If you've got unlimited, not necessarily win the lottery, but if you've got unlimited funds.
I know.
For whatever reason, whether you've inherited money or, like you say, had a big win, or you've suddenly found a big pot of money at the end of a rainbow.
Yeah. What would be the first thing you would do if you won the lottery?
It'd have to be a holiday. I think I'd take time out, have a holiday to decide what I'm going to do.
I think, I would. I've got a vision. Not that I plan this in my head every single night, obviously, but I would be like, the minute I got the call from the lottery. Did you get a call from the lottery?
I think you do.
Or do you?
I don't really know.
Do you ring them and say, I've got the golden ticket, and they scan the
No idea.
barcode or whatever, and then they say, yeah, you've won 2 million quid. Yeah. So I think the minute they've said to me, you've won 2 million quid, I would literally ring up a limousine company, get them outside my front door, get me and Si and the 2 boys in, go up to uni, get the 3rd boy, and then would drive to an airport and just book on the most expensive, lavish, business class holiday for 2 weeks.
Because I think you need to take that time to make those good decisions.
Yeah.
Again, me being Mrs. Analytical.
Yeah.
I would want to take that time to think about what can I do with that money? What impact can I have?
So here's...
You mentioned about throwing it all away to PWA. I would have to give money to charity as well.
I was just going to ask you that question.
In me that I would have to donate. You know, I've won or inherited this vast sum of money. I would like to impact and make as many people benefit from that that I possibly could.
I was just about to say to you, would you I can't, oh God, I sound like a right sado now, but I can't imagine my life without Peterborough Women's Aid in it, because it's such a,
it becomes such a part of us. It's part of us.
It's part of who I am now, working for this charity and doing what we do. If I won, millions of pounds, I think I would still have to be involved or donate or do something for the cause, because the cause is now part of me. £1 million, 50p,
and
doesn't matter.
I think when you've seen the impact that our service can have on people, it makes you appreciate that so much more, how vital it is.
Yep.
And one of the things we say is we are saving people's lives.
Yeah, we are literally, yeah.
And we literally are saving people from being killed within their own home. So this is why our services are so vital. And like you say, it becomes a part of you and who you are.
Yeah. If I win the lottery, I will take you to that really expensive restaurant that I went to.
I'll hold you to that. I think one of the other things that we need to consider is mental health.
Yep.
Definitely. And other health problems. Neurodiversity, for example. If you suffer with depression and anxiety, all those things can influence the decisions that we make.
So I made a really bad decision. This is a bit of a funny story. It was also a sad story. When my mum died, I really suffered with anxiety, and I'd never really experienced anxiety before that. And I was anxious about everything. I was kind of paranoid that all my family are going to die. I was anxious about them going out. I was just
things that would never have bothered you prior to that.
really upset me and bothered me. So obviously I went to see the GP, I went on some medication, and after time, things sort themselves out, don't they? But whilst I was in that heightened state, I got all my hair cut off.
Oh, really cut off?
Yeah, I had really, really long hair, and I got it cut into a bob. And I remember the hairdresser saying, do you really, really want to do this? Do you really want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I really want to do it. But I didn't, because if I hadn't have been in that heightened state, I would never have done that. And I think it was, again, this impulse. Mentally, I wasn't in the right space. And so, I had all my hair cut off. And everyone that I knew was like, that was the wrong decision, because I'd been growing my hair for ages. And it was that really... And then when I'd realised I'd made that wrong decision, I was so upset. Like, so upset. And I was like, I knew that was the wrong thing. It was a reaction, and I wanted things to change,
And like you say, because your mental health
wasn't great.
Wasn't balanced
and
at
it sounds,
point.
It's a stupid example, isn't it? But it disproportionately upset me because my mental health wasn't great.
Yes.
So, making decisions while you're mentally ill or physically ill.
That's it. Or if you're in chronic pain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can remember a time where my wisdom tooth had moved and needed to come out. And I was literally rolling on the floor because the pain was that severe. There was no way I could make a decision about anything. And if you've got chronic pain and you're living with severe pain day in, day out, that's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
So how can you possibly make a good decision if you're in that state constantly? It must be really, really hard.
And I think we're running out of time a little bit, but I suppose just to wrap this up, the reason we're talking about decision inhibitors and we kind of move it on to what PWA are about is that we're looking at the decisions that victims might have to make, and all of the things that we've talked about, mental health, other people's expectations, the role of females in society, stress, money, all of these things are factors that victims of abuse have in the back of their minds or practically going on for them. And then they're having to make huge decisions about their future as well. So
these are life-changing decisions as well, such as moving area, finding somewhere new to live, setting up a bank account if you've never had a bank account before.
Yeah. So it's really important that people are aware of these decisions inhibitors, we've called them, haven't we? Yeah. So thank you very much, Sue. You have been listening to Keep Women Talking. We are going to